laying our hand on that arc, and we're bending it toward a safer workplace and sending people home the same way they arrived.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, Harold, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and thank you for what you contributed to the greater good in all of our careers and those 10,000 employees in the East. It's a great body of work, and thank you for sharing it with us today.
Well, again, thank you for the opportunity. It was a real honor to be here today, and it was my pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you all so much for joining in and listening today. And thank you for the work that you all.
Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk about OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
And from the border of liberty and prosperity, the highway to the north. How's everybody doing? We were on the air on Friday, but we had a couple of technical glitches here. And, without heavily editing the program, it would have been, I didn't want to upload it. So, I was on the air on the live end on Friday, but we did have some glitches here on our end. So, why aggravate it? Why waste people's time? I'm not going to do that. Hope, if this is the first time I'm seeing you, quote unquote, or you're seeing me, more accurate, Happy New Year. There, and we are back to business as usual. Haven't taken down the tree yet. Like, coming down at the tree. Right? I love Christmas trees. So I'm one of those guys. It's extremely hard to buy. So my sister, lovely Mary Ellen, says to me, Jim, I don't know what to get you. What to get you? Gift cards for Christmas ornaments. She said, great. So I didn't get one this year, but I did get one last. I said, you're going on vacation somewhere. You're going, an exotic location. They always sell Christmas ornaments. And of course, not always makes me. And my family does that. So this was one of my. Can I get it here? No, it's not coming up on camera. So I have a cell phone holder that's like right here. So I have the Safety FM on my right. I have an iPad here with music. And now this is an older cell phone, so I'm only using for the show here, so it's nice and handy here. Or if I want to watch TV, or streaming, boom, we're right there. Anyway, that's just going. We got a ton of news here, and we're going to go back into which we went on Friday. There's our SMART goals, and we had a little bit of fun with our immutable laws project management. On the first hour, we concentrate on safety, or if there are big stories going on in the news, we're going to cover them. And then the second hour is always politics if we get to a second hour. So so on Safety FM, we were here for like an hour, and then we move on over to Rumble on the second half of the show. If we run overtime, YouTube doesn't really want us to go over an hour. Now, sometimes they'll let us, sometimes they won't, but no, Rumble lets us go over an hour there. So, and we also also have Facebook doesn't like us to go over an hour either, but Rumble lets us go over an hour. So we will upload the second hour of the program if there is one without issues with that. Sometimes we have issues. So some of these stories I have, they have an environmental bent on them right now, which is fine. I mean, they have an environmental bent. Now, first story we're going to talk about is congestion pricing here. It's a very controversial subject here in New Jersey and New York. So we broadcast in Rockland County, New York, but I'm a New Jersey guy. I'm like I said, the border of liberty and prosperity. New Jersey is right down the street here, practically. No, not too far away. And a lot of my business takes place in New Jersey. So I'm a Jersey guy. I'm born and bred and everything else. I'm not sure about the bread, but born. So I wasn't there. I was, but you get it. But anyway, after years of delays, congestion pricing is up and running in New York City. We got to experience that today. A lot of people have not come back from the winter break yet, or they're working from home, like they're like federal employees. They want to act like they're federal employees. And what they're so I expect for us to get the full effect of congestion pricing in tomorrow, starting tomorrow. And what is that? That means that you're going to get charged if you're below 60th Street in Manhattan, anything south, with some exceptions. For example, the FDR Drive, the West Side Highway, and if you're going over the what used to be called the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel over there. I'll still call it Brooklyn Battery Tunnel there. And which I actually walked a couple of times because I was on the last cleanup crew there about 15 years ago, where they pressure washed the whole place and did the repair work. I think they do that every year, but I was there 1 year for it. It was great. You know, what an experience. Beyond me, how the firefighter ran across that full year. Incredible on 9/11. So, when was the first time I heard of this congestion pricing? Believe it or not, it was in the early to mid 1990s. I definitely in graduate school, which I started in 1998. But they were as soon as that Easy Pass technology came out, and we have Easy Pass in the Northeast. You may have something else in other parts of the United States, where the transponder on the car, and then it automatically clicks. You pay the toll. I've had it since 1996, I believe. So New Jersey was a late comer in Easy Pass technology, but pardon me, I having a drinking problem here. So everybody in New Jersey going to New York, like me, where I had a project up in West Point that I've spoken about, got the Easy Pass for New York. But what's my point? My point is this: this is a long time coming. This is 30 years coming. Here, we'll see how it works out. I don't like it with this. Yeah, I understand pollution. I understand congestion. I understand that they're looking to raise money. I think that's the main reason here they're doing this is to raise money. It's not out of the goodness of their heart. I'm sorry. With all the other, I mean, they have a $6.1 billion shortfall in New York because of the way that they've chosen to manage the, and I'll use the legal term, illegal immigration system here. $6.1 billion hole. I don't think that it's coincidence that that was in there. And the other thing that's in there. The other thing is when Kathy Hochul was running for re-election, she said that they're not going to do congestion pricing. Guess what? Congestion pricing. Really? Really? Now, if this is deemed successful, meaning that there's not a lot of pushback, the I think this is going to stay here, and this is going to expand to other major cities like Boston, LA. LA, I mean, if you've ever been on the West Coast with LA traffic and San Francisco traffic, complete nightmare. For example, and I don't know about LA, but I know in the San Francisco area, a lot of trucks are not allowed on. There's restrictions to trucks over the road there. So, uh, you know, with that during the day, so they banned that. At least when I was there, that's what it was. I think that this is going to expand to other areas. Just the way it is. This is the way government works. Now, my question is this: my solution to this congestion pricing is actually real simple. What New Jersey needs to do is that if you're in a government, and if you're in a government, we'll start that small. If you are in a government vehicle from New York State, we charge you a toll coming into New Jersey. We real simple, and we exempt everybody from or we expand it where any out-of-state people coming into New Jersey from New York get a toll. This is how you handle it. This is how New Jersey will recoup some money, and then you would have, again, this is all electronic, so it's easy to do. Anybody who is paying in New York this congestion pricing would get a reimbursed from New Jersey. Simple solution, and Connecticut wants to join in there. Connecticut does it. Also, retaliate. This is, retaliate. That's all you got to do. I have a feeling that if you retaliate this, because again, they're not, they're going to back down. My own opinion. That's my solution. Don't get mad. Don't get angry. Don't do anything wrong. Don't do anything illegal. Just, okay, you're going to charge us a toll to come into New York. We're going to charge you a toll to come into New Jersey. And we're going to say congestion pricing. And we're going to use your argument for you. That's what has to happen. And yeah, that's going to be a TikTok or Instagram reel. We're going to go on over here to Voice of America, VOA, not the Sammy Hagar song. VOA, Voice of America. That is the official government news source meant for overseas, but we're using it here. All right. So here we have VOA News. And let's see if these things work. Minneapolis to revamp police training force policies after George Floyd's murder. The Minneapolis City Council on Monday approved an agreement with the federal government to overhaul the city's police training and use of force policies in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. Only been 4 years. They'll get around to it. The deal incorporates and builds on changes the Minneapolis Police Department has made since Floyd, a black man, was killed by a white officer in 2020, prompting a national reckoning with the police brutality and racism. The 171-page agreement filed in federal court shortly after the council's 12-0 vote says the department will require its officers to promote the sanctity of human life as the highest priority in their activities. It says the officers must carry out their lawful enforcement duties with professionalism and respect for the dignity of every person. And it says that they must now allow race, gender, or ethnicity to influence any decision to use force, including the amount of force used. And it goes on and on and on. It's a consent decree, means the department will be under long-term court supervision. New Jersey went through this and lasted like 20 years. Now, that's all well and good. Do they need to have something? Absolutely, I had to have something like this. Like I said, better late than never. It's 4 years later, 2025, almost 5 years later. They had to have some interim things. Well, let me point something out. I'm going to state the obvious here. The criminals, are they going to agree to this also, that they have to be respectful? I don't know. It just seems, I'm asking the question here. And I think it's a pretty relevant question because criminals break the law, right? And this is almost like you have the health and safety professionals out on the job that are supposed to go out there and do whatever the thing is, right? And no, they don't follow my my suggestions, and you know what those are, right? With that, I won't go into that. Again, I go through it every night, it seems. But where the safety professional goes out there and has the responsibility to and help compliance. And I don't like to use that word compliance, but help and coach the people along to work safely and everything else. Well, what if you deal with someone who is hell bent on not complying, on not working safely? Uh, Happens all the time. Hey, put on your safety glasses and you get the New Jersey salute. And I won't do that on the air, but everyone knows what the New Jersey salute is. Or they show you the New Jersey state bird. There. Ooh, we got alarms going off. All right. Boom, boom, boom. What do you do in that case? Let's go back to VOA. U.S. Congress certifies Trump's election win ahead of his inauguration. U.S. Congress certified Monday that Donald Trump defeated Vice President Kamala Harris in the November presidential election, setting the stage for his inauguration in 2 weeks to his second non-consecutive four-year term in the White House. Under U.S. law, the sitting vice presidents preside over the electoral college count of the election results from each of the country's 50 states. I mean, this was still a divided Congress, you can see, because when they called out a state for Kamala Harris, there was applaud, and when Trump, there was an applaud, and it went back and forth down partisan lines here. This was also the anniversary of the January 6th, situation in 2001. Trump this time won 312 to 226. They're calling it a landslide. I use that word guardedly. I don't really consider this election a landslide. On the presidential vote, yes, but on many of the other ballot issues on down the ballot was a little bit of a not landslide where people split their vote on a lot of these issues here. The other thing is, I'm going to remind everybody in 2001, I was getting phone calls from people. Hey, Jimmy, they went along the lines of this. Hey, Jimmy, are you going down to, down to Washington? DC is not too far away from, from where you're living in Chestnut Ridge at the time, New York. And I said, no way. I said, well, why not, Jimmy? I said, because there's going to be a problem there. There's guaranteed to be a problem there. And I dissuaded about 4 or 5 people. One guy never talked to me again from go. So I don't know if he went down or not. At least 4 people to go down there and not to go down there. I said, look, there's going to be a problem. You and I have things to, regardless of what your opinion is down there of it, even if you're, if you're on the other side here, there's going to be a problem. And the people with a lot to lose are going to lose it. And that's me and the other 4 people that called me up. And guess what? They called me back later on and were thanking me on that. Now, Biden's visit to New Orleans. Relatives of victims of the terrorist attack. Joe Biden went today to comfort with the grieving families of the 14 people who were killed and 35 injured when the man, and we're not going to use his name, went down there and did what he did on New Year's Eve. Biden's first made an unannounced stop at a makeshift memorial at the site where the attack occurred. Dr. Jill Biden laid a bouquet of white flowers at the memorial while the president made the sign of the cross. Then they headed to a church. They went to meet with families of, pardon me, of the victims. With that, I mean, it's still under investigation. They decided to say, well, it was a lot of people. Now it's one person, and he didn't know what he was doing. And the same thing over there in Las Vegas with that situation. And nothing's related and everything else. Well, I'm going to tell you what, until I see the report, I'm not really going to comment on the investigation. I want to see the report because I really don't, it's like this, like someone else once said, I'm only questioning people who have lied to us before on this stuff. That's all I'm doing. Now, you want to talk about hype here. Louisiana reports the first bird flu related death in the U.S., state agency says. And I'm not bemoaning sickness and illness here. I'm not bemoaning. I'm not putting it down or anything. But here it is. Because there's something here that nobody wants to talk. This is like the 300-pound gorilla no one wants to talk about here in the room, or 600-pound, well, however it is, right? Bigger than me. Louisiana Health Department said on Monday that a U.S. patient hospitalized with H5N1 bird flu had died. The country's first death from an outbreak of the virus that had sickened dozens of people and millions of poultry and cattle. Nearly 70 people in the U.S. have contracted the bird flu since April, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Most of the livestock workers exposed to sick chickens or dairy cattle. Okay, I feel very bad that someone died from this. Now, the CDC keeps records of this, and it's a estimate because because of course with all numbers they get manipulated and they are self-serving. I get it, but they do have statistics on here. So these are right here. You're viewing the preliminary estimated flu disease burden 2024 to 2025 flu season. Now, it's horrible that we had one person die from H5N1 flu, but let's see what the regular flu is. Right? So we're going to go down here and say, oh, what do we got? Since October 1st, that's when they usually start counting, unless there's reason to start sooner. Since October 1st, 2024, CDC estimates there have been between 5.3 to 9.3 million flu illnesses, 2.4 to 4.2 flu medical visits. I was one of them. I didn't have the flu, but I thought I had the flu. 63,000 to 143,000 flu hospitalizations, and 2,700 to 13,000 flu deaths. Okay. Here's my question for you. Question. Why are they hyping this? And there are other illnesses that are thrown in here. Why are they hyping this? Why are they out there in a panic? They're apoplectic, right? I don't know. Are they trying to screw with our minds here? Are they trying to manipulate us? Because we do have some other stories here, right? We do have some other stories here a little bit later on, closer to the 1 hour mark, that we're going to share that are pretty infuriating here with what's going on. Well, no, where it appears that someone is leaving office. They're going out and they're signing executive orders, changing policies, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 blah. And, I mean, are they hyping this? Are they, I hate to be conspiracy theorists, but guess what? We got to ask the question. Why are they hyping this? We also have stories about mask mandates here, right? And again, if it's a non-government website or non-open source website, I normally do not display it unless it's by accident here. Norovirus and flu spiking in New York after the holidays. How bad is it? And this is from lohud.com. How bad is it? Flu, COVID, and norovirus infections are spiking as New Yorkers return to work and schools following the holidays, prompting public health officials to renew efforts to improve vaccination rates. After a late start, flu season hit New York hard in December with 24,000 cases in the last week of the month, or 5 times higher than an early December state data show. Right? But they do not report on any deaths in New York. I'm not saying that there were not any deaths, but they're not really reporting here. Let me see. So no, it's very what's the word I'm looking? I don't like the manipulation. I'm going to accuse them of manipulation here. And if they are manipulating, for what reason are they manipulating? Here. Let's go back. Anything else in VOA News? All right. All right. Okay, here we have some political news. I'll say here. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani found in contempt of court in the defamation case, and he was ordered to, in contempt of court because he didn't hand over allegedly some stuff, and they're going back and forth, back and forth. I would suggest, and he lost his job reportedly as a talk show host on 770 WABC in New York, where she was making as far as I know, was the only thing that he was making money on because he made some accusations. And now he has to pay more than what he's worth. I don't have a problem with the lawsuits. I don't have a problem with, him paying something, right? No problem at all. This is like with all these cases that are on free speech related or speech related. I have a problem with the size of the compensation package. You know, he was ordered to pay the people $73 million in compensation and $75 million as punishment. Really? Really? We had one of these cases here in town. I know a little bit more than I'm going to mention because it's in town and you hear things. But it turned out that the person got awarded $4 million in the libel or slander case, whatever it was, because of stuff that went on a website. It sounded to me, to be honest with you, like a lover's, like a scorned woman, is what it sounded like to me. But I could be wrong on that. But anyway, I don't know where they come up with the numbers. And this is where Dawn Becker, our friend of in the insurance industry, Acrisure, she had mentioned the last time she was on the show, which was likability. If you're not likable, that is a liability. And a lot of times that's what's going on here is that people are not likable. And a lot of people do not like Donald Trump. They don't like the other guy from the other wars. They don't like Rudolph Giuliani. They don't like any of these people. So therefore, they're giving them high payouts on that. We got to do we really want to do that? Oh, Jim, they're rich people. Who cares? I get that. Well, you know what? It's equal justice for all. Right. And this is one of my main problems with the way the government is operating is that we have a two-tier justice system. And that was two in a congressional report the Friday before last Christmas that came out. 17,000 page report. Eventually we'll be reading it. Now, not here. We got a little bit of snow here, but south of here, especially going down toward Cape May, New Jersey, and Delaware, I mean, huge amounts of snow. New York City got like 2 inches, 3 inches over by JFK Airport today. But they still held Congress there to certify the election. But it's, a lot of snow. They're saying, enjoy it while we got it. Damn that global warming, or is it climate change? I don't know. No, I don't know what I'm allowed to call it nowadays. Let's see what else. Let's go to our first commercial break, and I'll get organized for the next thing. We're going to go over OSHA and EPA news next, and that's what we'll do. All right.
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars with your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
Have you listened or watched the Safety War show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not taken a listen to Jim Posel and what the hell he's doing every evening with Safety Wars, I would strongly encourage you to take a view or take a listen, whichever option is available for you, and take a listen to what the hell he has going on. It will take some deep dives and some information that you might be interested in.
In a world where danger lurks in every corner, one man stands as a beacon of hope. Jim Posel, a veteran safety expert with over 3 decades of experience, now bringing his knowledge to you with Safety Wars. Engaging, informative, and always relevant. That's Safety Wars. Join the safety revolution with Safety Wars, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos.
Want to avoid hefty OSHA fines and keep your team safe? Let's dive into the General Duty Clause. The General Duty Clause, Section 5(a)(1) of the OSHA Act of 1970, is a catch-all rule to cover unregulated hazards. Employers must keep workplaces free from recognized dangers that could cause death or serious harm. For OSHA to cite you under the General Duty Clause, they must prove the following 4 things. 1. The employer failed to render its workplace free of a hazard. 2. An employee was exposed to that hazard. 3. That hazard was causing or likely to cause death or serious physical harm. And 4. Feasible means exist to free the workplace of the hazard. Employees aren't off the hook either. Section 5(b) mandates they follow all safety standards. Both employers and employees must work together to maintain a safe work environment. Examples: think lifting above shoulder height repeatedly, or working without proper support. Stay proactive. Monitor work areas, apply the 4-part test, and you'll prevent those nasty citations and keep everyone safe. Need help? And more information? Contact Jim Posel and the Safety Wars team to help you prevent workplace incidents, conduct safety audits and training. Contact the Safety Wars team at jim@safetywars.com or 8452-695772. Visit us on the web at www.safetywars.com. Let's build a safer workplace together.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy.
Okay, yes, Jessica, I am your father. All right, here we have. We're going over into Department of Labor. There was not a no. My question is going to be this: I wonder what's going to happen after the inauguration here. If there's going to be the same number of press releases, because I know press releases have gone down and a lot on the OSHA and not the Department of Labor, because the Department of Labor has certain statutory things that they have to release, like employment. Of course, always during the show. Right, U.S. Department of Labor awards over $600K in grant funding for continued jobs, training services, and Washington communities affected by opioid crisis. U.S. Department of Labor today announced the award of $627,124 to the Washington State Employment Security Department to continue to provide disaster relief jobs and employment and training services for people in Southeast Washington communities affected significantly by the health and economic effects of widespread opioid use, addiction, and overdose. In September 2023, the department announced the award of a National Health Emergency Dislocated Worker Grant of up to $1.4 million with an initial award of $800,000. Funding supports Washington's efforts to create disaster relief positions in the state's Southwest regional workforce area. The grant also enables the state to provide employment and training services to dislocated workers in Clark and Cowlitz counties experiencing long-term unemployment and facing homelessness related to the opioid crisis. For today's funding, total awarded for this project is $1.4 million. We'll see what happens to a lot of this stuff, because the prediction is a lot of these programs may go away. Unemployment insurance weekly claims reports. Now, I want to point out to you folks, right? All of these claims get adjusted upward or downward, depending on what they are. What the reality is. This first couple of days, they really don't mean anything, and my opinion, meant to manipulate. I don't know what else to say. That's manipulation is part of the game here with this. If you measure it, it's going to be manipulated. All right, EPA. Here we have. This came out today. Press release all over the EPA. 2 truck stops in Iowa and Missouri, advertised as the world's largest truck stop. Iowa 80 and Joplin 44 agreed to pay a combined $390,784 to resolve alleged violations of the Clean Water Act. According to the U.S. EPA, the facilities failed to comply with regulations intended to protect water bodies from petroleum discharges. This settlement represents the federal government's commitment to protecting our nation's waterways and creating a level playing field for businesses who are complying with the law, said EPA Region 7 Enforcement and Compliance Assurance Division Director David Gozad. EPA discovered the alleged violations during inspections of the truck stops in 2023. According to the agency, the truck stops, which are owned by Iowa 80 Group Incorporated, failed to adequately develop and implement spill control and countermeasures, SPCC plans as required by the Clean Water Act. And let's remember what the purpose of the Clean Water Act is. It's to make all waters fishable and swimmable. Right? Facilities that store 1,320 gallons or greater of oil products in above ground storage tanks are subject to SPCC regulations. Such plans require, among other things, the proper containment to control petroleum releases, inspections of tanks and piping, and integrity testing of petroleum storage equipment. In response to EPA's findings, facilities revised their SPCC plans, conducted internal and external inspections, and completed the necessary repairs. Right, and these are all subject to 30-day public comment period. This is from last Friday. EPA adds 9 additional PFAs to the toxic release inventory. Today, January 3rd, and this is last Friday, the U.S. EPA announced the automatic addition of 9 per I can never say this. 9 per and polyfluoroalkyl substances to the list of chemicals covered by the toxic release inventory. TRI data is reported to the EPA annually by facilities in designated industry sectors and federal facilities that manufacture, process, or otherwise, I lost my place here. Not important. Management. All right. What are the 9 chemicals? They're listed right there in the middle. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce these things. Right. All that I know is I had my doctor tell me, not my current doctor, another doctor. He said, Jimmy, if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't be eating it. It's probably bad for you. Okay. Cannot argue with that. All right. So, for whatever reason, last week, EPA is saying prevent lung cancer by testing your home for radon. I guess, you don't hear a lot about radon here unless you're buying a house up in these parts. So, basically, radon, normally not is just caused by naturally occurring sources here. The radioactive decay of uranium causes lung cancer. Somewhere around 21,000 lung cancer deaths every year, according to the EPA. But many people don't know about radon, the risk posed to their health. I know a lot of people poo-poo it. They still poo-poo it. And it's not a big deal, basically. Not a big deal. Well, yeah, until you come down with lung cancer. Then it's a big deal. And it's everyone else's fault, right? I'm sorry, I'm a little snarky tonight, but that's basically what it comes down to. No problem. No, just like there's no problem with asbestos, it's natural. There's no problem with mercury. That's different than mercury in industry because mercury is a natural element, especially in South Jersey where you have high fire frequencies. It's in a lot of groundwater down there. And it's like, huh? It's like, dude, you gotta, you You got a bachelor's degree in environmental science. This is what you're going to hear. This is the kind of crap I hear. It's just EPA issues first ever underground injection permits for carbon sequestration in California. Again, we were talking about this back 35 years ago, right? Like the congestion pricing. On December 30, 2024, the U.S. EPA issued 4 underground injection control Class 6 well permits to Carbon Terra Vault JV Storage Company Sub 1 LLC. One hell of a company name there, a subsidiary of the California Resources Corporation, CRC. So they're going to be injecting carbon into deep wells. Oh, what could go wrong? Carbon dioxide. What could go wrong? Yeah, what could really go wrong? If fracking causes problems, will that cause a problem? I don't know. I think that's a darn good question. I don't know what the answer is, but that's my question on that. We're going to take another brief break here, and we're going to. Oh, by the way, mask mandates are back. We'll talk about masks later this week here. And okay, we're going to save the other stuff for hour number 2. We're going to mosey on over to what I did last Friday on the air, but I did not release here because it's no, I want to release quality programs, not quantity. We had some technical difficulties and that sort of thing. So we're gonna, if you heard this last Friday, you're gonna hear it again. Now, smart goals. Your smart goals. Okay, how does this come out? Here. Not good. All right. I was messing around with the other program and that I use for broadcasting, and it has some, I'm learning more and more. So let's do this again. And you do it a little bit differently there. There's a little bit of a better way of doing it, but we're going to be using that for when we do. When I say better way of doing it, I mean, it looks better, but hard to do when you're alone. All right. So often when I was working in facilities in the oil industry, we had this thing, SMART goals, where we have SMART goals. And, you talk to professionals and, this is like a gimmick. This is like a company, right? If it's used in a positive way, it's a good thing. But like behavior-based safety, right? Just like with behavior-based safety, when it's, management gets a hold of these things, these tools, and often it's used for evil. I'm going to say that. They want to give you the rope, and I know this is offensive, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm from grew up in the 70s and 80s. They give you the rope to hang yourself. Oh, well, you didn't meet your SMART goal. Or your SMART goal is really a dumb goal. And there's an acronym for dumb goals too, right? On this. And you hear this on and on and on. So the SMART goals, what are they? They are I don't know if you'll be able to see me here, but they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Hold on here. I want to. All right. So what does that mean? Specific. The goals have to be specific and have a desired outcome that is clearly understood. This is where you run into problems right off the bat with safety. Why? Because you have safety statistics that we know are manipulated. We know that when we have that zero accident sign, nobody wants to report an accident, and we don't get enough information. Well, we get people lying. You get people making things up, especially if you're on some of those statistics where you have to have a certain number of near miss, good catch reports. You need to have this. You need to have that. No, and that's how. And if you don't do that, you're not participating in the program, and you are an evil person and a bad person. Yeah, I've heard this again and again and again and again and again and again. You know who you are. I know you listen. Oh, yeah, yeah. I know. I know. People tell me, right? People tell me you drove that person nuts. I don't give up any confidential information, but that's often the thing. So you say, well, I'm going to reduce our TRI, our total recordable incident rate, down by a factor of 1. Now, oh, okay. And you don't achieve that. Oh, well, it's your fault we didn't achieve it. Happens all the time. So what you need to have is these goals align with and getting the support of management. And I would make sure that you put that in whatever document, whatever proposal, whatever email you have to send over to whoever you're reporting to. Say, I need everybody to help me out on here, and I need the resources to do this. Does not necessarily mean financial resources. It could be financial in some cases. Do I have the authority to hire, fire, discipline, make improvements, make changes? Do I have to do that? Do I have the authority to do that? If you don't have the authority to do that, how are you going to make that happen, the TRIR, to do that? You don't have any type of way to issue incentive programs. How are you going to do that? Coaching, training, anything like that, right? With that, hold on, I had something else here, right? It's in my stack of stuff here. All right. Maybe it's not in my stack of stuff. Right. But this is along the lines of that. Do you have the authority? Do you have everything needed to do that? If you don't have it, you don't have the budget or anything, it's kind of going to be kind of hard to do that. Especially if you have people who, no, I would start, start out small. Maybe it would be easier. We're going to do certain audits, so we're going to identify what's going on, and we're going to try to be involved in leadership programs, try to coach people along, encourage getting to find out why. That could be a thing. Why aren't people wearing their safety glasses? Why aren't people following procedures? Why are people, do we have to rewrite procedures? Right? Maybe a learning team might be a good thing. We're going to form a learning team, and we're going to get to the bottom of why our numbers are what they are. Well, the numbers are the numbers, but why are they that high? And can we lower them? How can we lower them here without lying and without committing fraud? Might be a good thing. Make them specific, measurable. Can they be measured? All right, and this is where the allure, where the temptation, where the romantic attraction, perhaps, of safety statistics and saying that that's going to be your goal is with the safety. That's why where it becomes easy. Well, hey, I didn't meet the goals, and now you get into an adversarial situation. Well, I didn't meet the goals because your people didn't help me. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. I didn't get the support I needed or anything else. Management was not serious on any of this stuff or anything else. And this is where you have a problem. Are they measurable? So often a smart goal that I would have is I'm going to do some kind of training with the work crew. And this is where we came up with a leadership program that I do for clients, where we get them on a leadership program and on stuff. Maybe this is how, hey, we're going to, and I'm helping clients with it right now with a annual safety meeting program. Right. So all my clients got January and February. They're going to be getting the rest of the year. And we charge for that 845-269-5772. We're going, so hey, we're going to training programs. We're going, how about PPE? We're going to, hey, we got a lot of hand injuries here with cuts and everything. Well, we're going to have a focus on hand protection. And we're going to have, as the last line of defense, gloves, cut resistant gloves. Maybe a different type of, rather than a box cutter, your standard box cutter, maybe we could have a talon kind of cutter, or a non-exposed blade kind of knife for cutting things. That might be a good thing, right? That might be a good thing. And we're going to make it a point, and now that's measurable. Every person got it. They've been trained to use it, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it could be changing a procedure, and changing the procedure so you're not out of that all important skills mode, right? But maybe we could align our procedures with what goes on in the field if it's legal to do that, right? Meaning your accordance of regulations, and all of this stuff could be done on there with that. So make it measurable. That's measurable. Make it positive. Make it a positive thing with that. Don't go with your safety statistics. Is it achievable? Are these goals that you're making up, are they achievable to this? Right? And it's along the line. Well, what do you mean achievable? If you're not getting management support, your goals aren't aligned with the company or the organization's goals, you're going to have a hard time making those things achievable, or it's going to be all you. I've been in that situation with things. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad with that. Just the way it is with it. Often at times it would have to be achievable with that. I know one of the things I had, and I had a whole bunch I just threw out. I had leftovers where we had safety rules and emergency rules. I had them printed out on a card. I would have them on a card now. Then was laminated before the cards became affordable, and everybody had a lanyard with their ID that they had to wear with them, and in with that lanyard, they had the rules, some of the rules of the site, some achievable thing. Yeah, we got reminders, things of that nature. Another thing could be, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to do, we can have an internal podcast with this, an internal newsletter. We do that here. We do that for clients. We have an internal newsletter, internal podcast we put together. Right, with that. That's all achievable. 845-269-5772. If you need help on that, make them relevant to what they're doing. Last thing you want to have is something that's totally irrelevant to what you're doing. And it's got to be timely, meaning you have to have a deadline on it. And what I would try to do is get everything done by like November, or get everything done right if you go on a calendar basis, but have it done like a month before you're being reviewed. If this goes along with your annual review, make it a month, right? And you log in your progress. But the most important thing that you could do is that there are people who are going to be out there, and this is what I didn't do, and it was a mistake, who may deliberately sabotage what you're doing. You say, well, Jim, you work with people. Yeah. Well, just go listen to our Rules for Radicals, Pushback Face by Safety Professionals. Every one of those things that I go over in that presentation and more has been done to me. Has been done to safety professionals. I had to witness a whole bunch of stuff just now on a site that happened to another safety professional. I said, you should have been listening to the show, right? Because we go over this stuff. And I said, now, rather than us say those people are bad, those people are evil, those people are this, those people are that, what you can't really control what other people do, right? You don't have the authority to hire, fire, discipline anyone, and make changes or reward people, right? Ask the question here: what did I do wrong, or did I do something wrong here? And let's try to figure out a better way of managing that. That's a much more positive way because you're helping yourself along. The worst thing that you could do is keep on making the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. Bad thing. So you want to make things timely. You want to have a final date. I would set that before they're going to evaluate these things. So when when if you achieve your goals, you can say, look, I didn't, you can write up a nice thing. I achieved the goals. This is what I did. This is what I did to make it happen. Everything else, blah, blah, blah. And even if you didn't achieve the goals, yeah, we didn't achieve the goals, but we got very close to achieving them. And we have a much better safety culture and management system here because we tried to do this. Or the other thing is we got a lot of pushback. Well, we know where the pushback is on these goals. And now we are better able to manage this. Interpersonally is all I can do. But you know what? You're the management. And we got all this pushback and I documented it. And by the way, you know, I'm probably going to need help here when we do this. And you know what? For the next set of SMART goals, we're going to continue with these SMART goals here. But we need some better. We came so far. If I just had a little bit more authority, we could have gone and we could have achieved great things here. And again, you want to communicate a vision. You want to say, look, I want a nice, productive, profitable company. Nice, happy workforce. People get along as best as they could. You're not going to get everybody together, obviously, but as best as they could. Be a positive thing. We make more money. Positive workforce. There's well documented all the stuff that goes on when you have positive attitude here, and that's what what you tend to do, and that is the safety SMART goal here, and that's no, that's where we're at here with the SMART goals. Here is that you try to don't try to be so no. Now, how about this? We don't be adversarial out in the workplace. How's that? We have a happy workplace. I know one of my clients did not. I mean, he was having a problem with this one. This was shows you the client. One of his family members, he hired one of his children. One of his children was one of these. I believe. What was let me look this up. She was a worker of iniquity, right? In the biblical sense as well as the secular sense, right? Causing problems all over the place. And what do you think he did? He fired her on the spot. Came in here, she started an argument with another worker. He said, you know what? This ain't working out. See ya. Rehired her later on when she became a little bit more mature and learned not to argue with people. But I was saying, yeah, man, that was a little bit brutal. He said, well, gotta learn. And there is no favoritism at this firm. Fair enough, it's your firm. There is no favoritism, there is no nepotism. So you got to earn your way. And that's what they did. A little bit brutal on there with that. So that's what I have for today. We're going to go into hour 2 with political news. We're going to finish up on this here Safety FM thing, this little thing of ours on Safety FM. And I just closed all my stories for hour 2. So, but that's okay. We have some time to redo them. So we're going to continue with our patriotic outro, and I will be back, God willing, tomorrow. Here we're going to go into hour 2 on Rumble. are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
And from the border of liberty and prosperity, on the highway to the north, this is Safety Works for Monday, January 6, 2024. This is hour number 2. Safety Works. So we go into more politics, and we do this a couple of times a week. The first hour is safety. The second hour, politics and other commentary. Why do we do it this way? We do it this way because we're on Safety FM live the first hour, and like the name implies, that has to deal with safety. Here we deal with more of the news, even though we can got to talk a little bit of politics, but we're gonna be more. So who am I? This is our first second hour show of the year, and I had made this announcement last year, all the way back last year, where we would be doing a second hour dealing with politics here, and what, no, I noticed after the last election, it was like a pressure release valve. A lot of people calmed down. What I hope for, and me and a lot of other people hope for, those things are going to get going into a column. And I think that they have here, and with this. But the thing is, it's also become more and more critical that we talk about these issues. Now, President Trump, regardless of what you think about him, he cannot run again. So there has to be new leadership, both parties, Democrat and Republican. And unless you're living in New Jersey, Kentucky, Virginia, the top of the ticket is not, a New Jersey governor, I believe Kentucky governor, New York, and New York City mayor. Right, Eric Adams, as of right now, is running for re-election. That may change here. All this stuff is unless you're living in those states, we're in the 4-year election cycle. What I'm saying here is not any surprise to people who worked in politics. Number one is that the first year, meaning today, starting today, the November election was certified today. Right. Educate your voter. And I've been involved with a couple of organizations, one in particular, where we are involved in voter education, where we, that's what we do. We educate the voter. The second one we do is second year, and you educate and recruit. And of course, you're recruiting all along. And you get to run midterm elections. You recruit a couple of people, you try to get together an organization. And when I mean organization, it could be Republican Party or Democratic Party gets their groove note together and starts to do things. Now, then what happens is you have your elections, you figure out where your weak points are, what the voters want, because I'm going to tell you, the voters will not talk to you unless you're an actual candidate. Very, very difficult to get people to vote, talk to you about what the issues are if you're not a candidate, or unless you're part of a well-established organization. And I don't mean Democrat, Republican, or other political party. I mean, you have to be part of an actual organization to go and what's the word I'm looking for? I'm asking for words. Part of a regular, an actual organization to get them to interact. Well, hey, what are your issues? It's always going to be the economy. Is the economy stupid? That no, Jim Carville back in the 90s with that. It's always going to be, is the economy stupid? It's this, it's that. Okay, great. So we know what people want to hear. They want to hear about the economy. Economy and outlet jobs. The second thing that they want to hear about is maybe some local issues with that. Right? With what are the local issues that they have to be aligned with? It could be anything in the local level. Recently was corruption, right? We have widespread corruption. The third thing is going to be often social issues, especially in the primary. Social issues, and both sides of the aisle have their own social issues that they want to deal with, right? Now, one of the things is that they're talking landslide, and again, right, and I got to make up some things here, right?
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars with your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
Got to face the harsh reality. And they're talking red wave last November. Okay, great. On a lot of things it was. From the election to Donald Trump, argument can be made, red wave. But when you look at the social issues, the abortion issue, and specifically, the abortion issue was on 9 ballots, and the pro-lifers lost on 7 of them. And there's litigation all across the board here with this. Again, on that one issue, that was a losing issue here. People decided to split the ticket. And I tell you what, in 2028, I don't think that is going to be an issue at all at this point. Maybe local here or there, not really going to be a major issue because the Republican Party removed it from their plank. Did you know that? Was that on the news you watch? Do you read? So again, I don't think that that's going to be necessarily an issue with that. So now you're into the third year after you've run everything, right? Then you're into, again, educate the voter, register the voter, recruit people. Then the fourth year is get out to vote and educate the thing. You cannot rely on the mainstream media. And now everybody knows the mainstream media, Democrat and Republican, look at the ratings. That the mainstream media is baloney. They feed you a load of baloney because they want ratings. Where you have podcasts like here, Safety Wars, and there are thousands of other podcasts out there that talk about politics, that give you news. What other podcast or platform is going to be out there where you have people actually going out there and you have people actually go out there reading the news? Like we've read government reports here, either in the first hour or the second hour. We've been reading government reports, and we're going to continue to read government reports as appropriate here. So that's what we're about. So in summary, first year, educate, recruit. Second year, educate, recruit, try to form an organization. Third year, educate, and you're going to run the candidates. Third year, educate and recruit. Fourth year, mobilize. That's what it takes. And you're right. And you're going to have to go through and start working through. Now people say, well, Jimmy, what about the third party? The third parties are fine. They're great ideas. I've been a member, unofficial member of some third parties here. The third parties are fine, but what do you need to run a candidate? You need ballot access. Check out our September 27, 2023 program, where we go into what it takes to get on the presidential ballot or any ballot. You need ballot access, and the ballot access especially after 1992 with Ross Perot, the parties made it very difficult for a third party to get anywhere. Right. And they put up all different types of roadblocks. We've discussed it here on the program from time to time on here. So we have from the Wall Street Journal, Trudeau to resign as voters sour on his vision for Canada. I'm going to tell you, people up in Canada, some of them are very upset because of the way COVID was handled, where you had suspension of civil rights, you had banks seizing funds, or not so much seizing, but freezing funds of a lot of people who are critics of the Trudeau government. People were pissed. I think he overplayed his hand. So, they're setting up a leadership battle for the Liberal Party. They're saying that the conservative parties may be taking over. But if you look all through Europe, this is what the trend is in the West, is that the right-leaning parties are coming into right now. In Congress certifies Trump's election win. Now, I tell you what, it must really suck if you're Kamala Harris today. My heart goes out to her because now you have to go and count the votes that you certify an election that you lost here. And like I said during the first hour, that was really a partisan, and it shows you the partisan divide here with the way that people were acting, cheering for one side or the other here. I don't know if that's really a good thing. I know they're playing for they're playing for the donor class is what they're doing here. Oh, look at that. We gave them the business. We gave them the business. We got, no, it sucks. Unemployed office workers are having a harder time finding new jobs. More than 1.6 million, this is all out of Wall Street Journal. More than 1.6 million unemployed workers have been have been job hunting for at least 6 months. My question to this is this because of AI? Don't know. Could it be? It could be AI doing all of this with this. And again, people don't want to work in the office. So I know a lot of small businesses that I know, they've got rid of people or laid people off or whatever else. People didn't replace them. They retired and everything, them out, never replaced them. Why? Because of AI. Things becoming easy. I mean, we use here AI pretty heavily, as you can tell. Every one of these promos I have here, especially some of the songs right here. Atomic Christmas. You couldn't do this stuff a year ago.
Snowflakes fall like ashes down from the sky. All we want for Christmas is to not say goodbye. Twisting lights on, tinsel twisting the truth, while Santa's sleigh and fallout just vanish from view. Silent nights with sirens blaring, nuclear glow in the air we're sharing. Deck the halls with shadows dark, holidays in a fallout park.
Right. And with that's Atomic Christmas by Safety Warrior. We wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago. I mean, you had to hire someone for that, and that goes for the graphics and everything else that's out there. With that, I mean, it's sad, but things are in transition here. And I wonder how many of those things are being replaced by AI, automation, and again, it used to be it used to be up to when I graduated high school, 88. That time. Our parents were, if they weren't baby boomers, they were from the generation before, like my parents. You went and you got a job. My father worked for Western Electric for 40 years, close to. Right. One of my friends, Bob, his father worked with my father. He worked there for like 45 years. Right. Same company. It's this was the vision. My grandmother lived with us for a time. Right. You went to school to be this. You're going to be that. Look at where I could only go by myself. Look at where I started. Look at where we are now. Started out as a geotechnical person, a little bit of safety thrown in there, and then going into just industrial hygiene, environmental cleanups, all the way to doing what we're doing now with safety wars, and we're still doing high-end consulting that we're doing here in the safety field. I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to be a broadcaster, but wasn't able to do that. It became possible. Now we're up to what, 403? I think there's 403 programs today. Incredible. I wanted to do this in 2009, but nobody wanted to, go out there and do it. I thought I needed help. No, don't need help. I got everything here. I got the background. I'm Mr. Snowman, and I got Shrek here, keeping me out, and everything else. My daughter gave me that, so I always have it here. With that, and maybe it's time to pivot. I'll use a word during the thing and do something else with this. I don't know. It is what it is. This from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. Steel, Nippon Steel challenged Biden's move to kill a $14.1 billion deal. U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel filed a pair of lawsuits Monday accusing President Biden, the president of the Steelworkers Union, and the chief executive of a rival company of conspiring to scuttle the $14.1 billion tie-up. So Nippon Steel, my understanding that is a Japanese company, and I don't have too big of an issue with that. It's not like it's China. However, there is national. No, I have to agree with the outgoing President Biden here. There are national security issues here of having foreign countries like China. Japan's a little bit, they're an ally, but foreign entities owning our means of production here. Not very, very smart on our national resources. Here we go. How do people survive plane crashes that kill nearly everyone else? Lots of variables determine a flight survivability, including the location of the seat and luck. We talked about this last week. Now, I don't want to say all, but my sense is, and I discovered this reading a book by Amanda Ridley, who lives and who dies in disasters. The Unthinkable is the title of the book. Great book. Now it's classic, but great book. And she said people talk about airline disasters so much because that information is publicly available. Same thing with the NTSB and CSB. Their reports are publicly available. We've gone over them on this program here. So so they're very well studied here. So if let's say that you're studying for an exam like the CSP, ASP, any of the other alphabet exams, it might be, I'm just saying that, a good idea to go through these accident reports, because it might be a good idea with that. Not that they ask about the accident reports, but to see how an accident report is done. If you are a safety person, absolutely go and look at these things, see how an accident report is done. Very important with that. When I started doing that, the quality of my reporting went up astronomically. When Juju Air Flight 2260 crashed landed at a South Korean airport, skidded into an embankment beyond the runway, burst in flames, it seemed impossible that anyone would live but to survive. And what was it? The thing is, they were behind. No, I'll skip to the chase here. They were in the back of the airline, and they had a little bit more shielding, just enough shielding in the back with that. No, it's basically where it is. The tail snapped off. They were in the tail. No, they got injured. They're fouled up, and they survived. Now, something a little bit more serious today. And now this is one of the things, right? I'm a little bit frustrated that this wasn't released before the election because I have a feeling that it would have really impacted the election. And again, we had a Chinese attack on the U.S. Treasury system in December. So this isn't like a conspiracy theory sort of thing. How Chinese hackers graduated from clumsy corporate thieves to military weapons. Massive Typhoon cyber attacks on U.S. infrastructure and telecoms sought to lay groundwork for potential conflict with Beijing as intruders gathered data and got into position to impede response with slow chaos. So chaos. This is an article in the Wall Street Journal by Dustin Volz, Aruna Viswanathan, Sarah Krause, and Drew Fitzgerald. And the message from President Biden's National Security Advisor was startling. Chinese hacker had gained the ability to shut down dozens of U.S. ports, power grids, and other infrastructure targets at will, Jake Sullivan told telecommunications and technology executives at a secret meeting at the White House. Oh, really? Okay, this is where my frustration is. Jim, it's ridiculous that you should be out there preaching every September disaster preparedness. Really? Well, here we have people who are out here who we're paying their salaries. They're supposed to be looking out for us, and I think that they are, but they're doing it behind back doors. Wouldn't it have been nice? And they say, you know what? This is a real, and look, Chinese have access to this stuff. This stuff could be shut down. Why aren't we, what's going on here? And so we got a one cryptic public safety announcement in New York about nuclear war back in September of 2023, right? Again, I think it was September 2020. But anyway, again, why were we not, again, this stuff goes on. Why were we not told this? Who's in charge? So when people like me say, hey, and I was yelling for years that we're not prepared for a pandemic. We're not prepared for, Jimmy, you're crazy. I didn't have the platform I had now, but I had another platform. You're nuts. That'll never happen. 1.2 million plus dead. Done. Here we have a situation here, and you heard it here, probably from the Wall Street Journal from, when was this? Last week, Wall Street Journal, if you read it, it was here on the 4th, on Saturday. Again, over the weekend. Nobody's reading this crap over the weekend other than me. I'm telling you, the power grid is tenuous at best. Last year, we had no cable TV because of a car accident here or something for like 18 hours. And people were freaking out. What the hell are they going to do? This morning it was 27 degrees out here in New York. Down in South Jersey, they got 7 inches, 8 inches and stuff. What the hell are they going to do without power? Houses, we sold my mother's house. What's the first freaking thing that the developer did? Did a great job, by the way. But what's the first thing they did? Take out the fireplaces. Oh, that's great. In a house like that, what? No power? How are you going to get power to the heating system there? Can't have a wood-burning stove through the 70s, through the energy crisis. Up until about 83, we had wood-burning stoves. Right here. A wood-burning stove here. I don't know. Who's in charge? Now, you want to get a wood-burning stove, you got to do it legally. This isn't like the old-fashioned wood-burning stove, which they still sell, by the way, that place that they call that is a river, named after a river or jungle, and the other place. That's an imitation of it. Got really cheap stuff there. You get mugs like this, like Go Boldly. So Go Boldly and Stay Trek, right? But anyway, you can get those old stuff, but guess what? You're going to get a new stove. The new stove has pollution control on it. Up here in the Northeast, wood is cheap now because you had an ash blight. Then you can't give firewood away up here. They're making mulch out of it and selling it for $200 a yard with delivery. Again, I don't know. Be prepared. Semper Paratus. Always prepared. Boy Scouts, be prepared. I don't know. Very frustrating. That's what I got for tonight on the political end here. And again, with thank you for the support. We're going to be doing more of these programs in 2025. We're going to do our outro, and we'll go from there.
Safety Wars is streaming now. SafetyFM.com.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host